think I don't like. I like that they traded Watson, but I don't think they got enough.
You think they should have gotten more?
They got 3 first rounders, 3 second rounders, and a 4th round pick. That's basically what they were asking.
But that means you have to look at.
I think they gave too much for Deshaun, if you want my personal opinion. But I can't see anybody else paying less.
The only reason I said I don't think they got enough is because if you look at the Denver Broncos trade with
it's the same trade.
No, it's not. The Texans didn't get players.
No, they didn't get players, but they got what they wanted, which was draft picks. They didn't want any players.
Right, but if you look at the talent in college now, is anything standing out to you where you say, "Hey, I can go get this"?
Just
guy?
Defensive players is all I
sadly, I would have to pose that question to Larry because I don't watch enough college to make that assessment.
All the college football I saw was mostly the defense. I saw a lot of great defensive players coming out this year. As far as offense,
exactly. So that's my point. I would rather, like, let's say if I was the Browns, if I was the Texans, I'd have still to ask for the first rounders, maybe the second rounders. I probably would have took less second rounders. Probably, like, let's say maybe not 3 first rounders. I would have took 2 first, 2 second, and I want 2 players.
Yeah, but I mean, look at the Browns players.
I mean, you would do that if who would you get?
You can get the safety Ward. He's a top.
They got the 3rd round draft pick, and the top safety in the college coming out of college is the one from Notre Dame, and that's who they got their eye on anyway.
Right, but I'm just saying right now, like let's say with a player, if you needed a player right now in the field, you need secondary help. So
that's the only one. That's the one they're saying that's most NFL ready. Right now to come out of college and play and get.
I got you what you're saying. You're still referring to the draft. I'm talking about the player pick. I would have said like, "Hey, give me Ward," or I'm trying to think of their defense. What's that linebacker? Defensive tackle. They got a defense. He's an African guy. Obojunu. Starts with an O and ends with an I.
Something like that.
Yeah, I would have took him or those 2 players. Or hell, you couldn't go Austin Hooper, but they cut him. Jarvis Landry. They cut him.
Well, you can pick them up in free agency.
Right. I'm just saying before.
Wait, worried about that. But the main thing they want to do is get rid of him.
Or you could have got offensive linemen.
But like I said, you want to get rid of the headache, and they got rid of the headache and the circus about it. But now it's like, what you gonna do now? You got free agency, you got the draft to work through. As far as what they didn't get,
and that brings me to a good point that I've kind of noticed this time. Sorry, some of these trades that have transpired normally happen after the draft.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think some of these have been like too like?
Well, I think
they made these deals too early.
Well, I think the quarterback ones are because there's no real good quarterbacks coming out of the draft.
Yeah.
So those I can understand. The wide receiver ones,
solidify
the
your
defensive players.
Yeah, solidify your QB and
Okay, so
and then try to get the remaining talent out of the draft.
So like last year with Jalen Waddle. Jamar Chase, you got Burrow, you had Zach Wilson, you had all these people that we all Herbert, all of them, right?
Yeah.
Right now, that was the college scene last year. Now
that
year,
was the college scene for the last 3 years.
But hear me out. I'm saying that was the college scene for the last couple of years, right? This year, have you heard anything?
No, that's only one.
But that's what I'm saying. So you're getting all these draft picks for what?
For defense and wide receivers
for other talent.
Right. I know what I'm saying is there's no names that are sticking out to you. There's no player that's
no, but they also got
invest
some of those
money
picks for next year. So not all of them are for this
not
year.
all of them are this year.
Right. I'm
so
just saying.
you still have a number 1 for next year.
I'm just bringing my
which there are 3 if not 4 QBs coming out next year.
3 good ones actually slated to come out next year.
I'm just bringing my point around that I wouldn't have took as many draft picks as I would have for a player that I know is established because the Browns have a lot of defensive talent. And then, like I said, I would have picked apart that offensive line because the guards, the left and the right guard are good.
Well, I don't think
top 3.
I don't think Cleveland's ready to get rid of that team like that.
But for Deshaun Watson, yes, they would have.
I don't think they would have did that. Atlanta probably would have.
Okay, well then give me what
Carolina didn't do it. They wasn't willing to give up
so
as much.
So let's say they don't want to get rid of the offensive line. Give me one of those running backs.
Well, you damn sure ain't gonna be Chubb.
Okay, but so now
Chubb ain't going nowhere.
But I'm saying now as a Texas, you got a solidified number 1 running back.
Well, like I said, you can pick up because they running backs are running back by committee now. You have to have at least 2 good ones to make a dent in anything.
Well, I mean, because unless you have a solid offensive line,
That doesn't
and
matter
and,
anyway.
and let's not even mince words. Talent like Ezekiel Elliott, right, is
few
rare.
and far between.
Yeah, very. I mean, we got lucky that time that was Melvin Gordon, and who was the other one that came out at the same time?
Melvin Gordon and
Melvin Gordon was in San
Todd
Diego,
Gurley.
right?
Yeah,
Todd Gurley was the
Todd
other
Gurley
one.
was the other one during the same time frame. So yeah, we got. I mean, that was luck right there that you had that kind of talent coming out of college at the same time, and really, I mean, a lot of colleges doing a little bit more of the gimmicky dink dunk,
Yeah.
Quick pass
Well, I
to
saw-
set up for the long bombs.
Well, I know I saw some UCLA games last year, and they running back is pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
this kid was.
But
this
is he coming-
kid was
he-
good.
but he's probably
He's
not coming?
out. I don't think he's coming out.
Yeah,
this season.
exactly.
But
don't
like
think
I
he's coming
said,
out.
but like you said, the draft picks are this year you got a number 1 and a number 2. Next year you got a number 1 and number 2. The third year you got a number 1 and number 2 and a number 4 or number 5. Or something
No,
like
I think they only have 2 number ones.
that. They got
one
three
this
number,
year
They got
and
3 number
one
1s
next
and
year.
3 number 2s.
You talking about the Browns trade?
the Browns
Yeah.
trade?
Yeah, it was 3 number 1s.
3 number
Oh, wow.
2s and a 4 or 5 or something.
I don't know about
like
3
that.
number 2s. I think it was 3 1s,
It-
2 2s.
2 2s, and I know it's
And a
4
3 and
or
a
5 or
4,
something
yeah.
like that. But what Josh, I think he was hitting at was these are picks that you build your team on over years, not like all in one. If they had that to give, they would have been these.
Well, I
trades
mean,
would
they're
have been
already
made.
going to have their picks that they already have, so
Yeah.
they're going to take as much advantage of the draft picks that they have
If
to
they pick
fill
right.
whatever.
First of all, they
well, I
gotta
mean,
pick
yeah.
right.
So right now, look, the Browns solidified their QB. They obviously are all in on Deshaun.
Yeah.
They can't get rid of Baker because there's still a question mark about how many games Deshaun's going to be
able to play, and plus
able
his
to play.
contract, his contract is
Right.
massive.
And
also.
so, I mean, and of course, there's argument about they may not be able to hold both of them, but all they need to do is have him long enough to, for the 4 maybe 6 game suspension for Deshaun, and then they can trade him. I mean, that's right. That would be right around the same
Well,
time of the trading deadline.
Sorry. From what I was hearing is basically they're going to hold on to it for a little bit and then cut him because in that way they says the cap.
True,
Because he's
And that-
18. He's $18.1 million cap.
yeah, and if
so
they
it
can
wouldn't
trade
even
him,
be
No,
beneficial
but
to trade him because then it would still be on
But,
the hook.
yeah, because the next team will eat $18 million.
if
So
the team wants to,
So yeah, so
right.
if
So
you
if they
cut
cut
him,
him, no team has it's a whole new contract.
well, they can
Yeah.
do it like they did Wilson and pay some money toward it, and it like split it. In
No,
half.
but see, no team wants to eat anything
Yeah.
because you've seen how his play, you've seen how he acts, you've seen all this stuff. No, that's why no team wants to trade for him.
well,
Because think about it, Seattle needs a quarterback.
yep.
then he's out of that.
And have you
Okay.
seen the rumors around that? Apparently, Pete Carroll in the league is keeping an eye on the Kaepernick situation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Really,
yeah.
that's a situation?
He's
I thought we were over that.
You're never gonna be over
Yeah,
Kaepernick. Let's
I mean,
just
how?
get that
Well,
out
I mean,
there.
because they're making all this, stink about Deshaun sitting out for a year. How long has Kaepernick been out?
It's three.
Nah,
No, it's
way
5 or
before,
6.
5 6 years.
So I mean, you get out there, you're gonna get the bare minimum contract. Take that. Get out if they give you a
Nah,
shot. Get out there.
we're
calm
talking
your
about
nerves.
Kaepernick.
Yeah,
He's
I
going to
know.
hold out for at
Yeah,
least.
but I'm saying take the base
He's-
contract, get your butt out there and play.
Well,
and
okay, what's the
shut up.
base for a QB? Because I
I
guarantee
think
you
it's
it's
a million.
not.
I think it's a million.
Nah,
For a player, I think it's for a million.
For-
We're
player, it's a
talking.
million.
Look,
I think it's a
take a
million.
look at what I look. The bare minimum, right? Bare minimum for a QB would be the deal that New England gave Cam a year ago,
that
which was
was so
$7 million, and that was with incentive.
That was $1
Yeah,
million.
yeah.
That
No, it was
$1
$1 million guaranteed. Everything else was incentives.
Everything else was incentive.
So
and that would be
so
Kaepernick's
yeah,
contract.
and I would say that Kaepernick is gonna basically negotiate for something more.
He can't negotiate for anything. He got to take what they give him because you ain't played in so long, and your
But
attitude
look-
better change.
Well, he's begging for a spot,
He's
so I
begging
mean
for a
maybe it
spot,
has.
so-
I don't know.
Well, from what
That
I
means you're
read,
running low on money.
from what I read, 5 teams are interested in him. So
Of course, because there's a need.
yeah,
I mean, it's so sad. I mean, take a look. Why did they get Michael Vick out of jail early? Because
Right.
there was a need.
but then that goes to a question I was going to ask. So with 5 teams looking at Kaepernick, who hasn't played in over 5 some years,
and Baker Mayfield's
and
gonna sit on
Baker
the bench.
Mayfield is being benched, what does that say about Baker though?
Well, I mean, we've already discussed how he tried to feed Odell, making people happy. That's not the way. I mean, you got to
That's
go
not
through
how
your
you play.
progression.
That's not how you
That is
play.
not how you improve as a
That's not a
player.
leader. That's
and,
not a
and
leader.
no, it's not. Well, I mean, I get it. That he's trying to be a leader in the way of he's trying to make his receivers happy. Unfortunately, you can't do that at the detriment of the team.
Yeah.
And he hasn't grown in that capacity. Is the way I
Kind of
see
like
it.
Johnny Manziel a little bit.
Well, Johnny Manziel,
Nah, that was a
that's
off the
completely
field
different.
issue.
That was
This
and
guy's
that was a
purely-
maturity issue too.
Yeah, Well, Baker Mayfield.
Well, but okay, there's a different look when you talk about maturity issues for off the field antics and balling out of control because you got money.
Yeah.
And that was what Manziel was in trouble for.
Yeah.
I mean, that's completely different than playing on the field with emotion and letting the emotion get the better of you.
Yeah.
And that's Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
And then what else? I'm trying to think. Devonte Adams to the Raiders.
Dude, I love that.
Now, it's a lot
and honestly, I mean, look, with all because with all the debacle that's been going on in Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers' antics, I love it because Rodgers the entire time was playing with everyone's emotions, and all the while, you know, he knew he wasn't going nowhere.
Right.
But he played the game wide to stay relevant and to get a contract. And then what happens? Devonte does this. Yep. And it wasn't for the lack of the money. Because the money contract was there.
The other wide receiver he liked, forgot his name, Kansas City's trying to poach him.
Yep. Well, I don't know because now that
talking about Tyreek Hill?
No, Tyreek is gone.
The Green Bay wide receiver, the other one, not Adam. The other
Lazard? Or are you talking about
not Lazard?
Oh no, Kansas City getting Vasquez Scantling.
Yeah, that's the other one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Okay,
and they got him. So right now you're looking at
you just got Lazard and
Cobb.
Do they still have a decent
wide receiver core?
No, a tight end to complement.
I think because I think last year was the rookie year.
Okay.
Yeah, but those two.
But anyway, I mean, but I find it hilarious because
you talk about
with all, like I said, with all the antics, and now Rodgers isn't any better off than he was last year.
You're worse off.
He's actually worse off.
Yeah, you got no receivers now.
And you're looking at somebody.
So hey, Cousins and the Vikings chance to take it.
But when you sit here and said the legacy of Tom Brady trying to go somewhere where, you know, he can start something new or whatever. Josh said he should go to a team that's already got pieces in place. Aaron Rodgers, you just cost your team by playing these games two of your best wide receivers.
Well, the best wide receiver in football.
You have to figure what was going to happen was probably going to happen regardless. I just find it comical that, you know, he did this, he finally got his deal, and then Devonte left.
Yeah. Well,
because had they solidified the Devonte early, or if that one, think about it, would Rodgers have left? Because without receiving, I mean, and we know that he's the least turnover prone QB because he doesn't take risks down the field.
Really doesn't.
So, but and that might be another reason why Devonte is leaving, because think about it, in order to get your catches, you got to get your targets.
Well, the thing is so Devonte left because he asked the franchise one thing: do not place the franchise tag on him. So because they gave Rodgers that contract, they had no choice because that's all.
He said he was not going to play on that.
And so once they tagged him,
they're like,
that's when he was like, "Oh, you tagged me after I asked." And after all the stuff I did,
and
cool.
It was $25 million.
Was that?
But at
but
the
was
same
that?
token, it's not what he wanted.
Then there's no way he can leave. Then
no, they gave him permission. They gave him permission.
They gave him permission to see, because once he said I didn't want to be tagged, and all they had to do, they told him they were going to tag him. He said,
"Yeah, you know what? Green Bay should have tagged freaking Rodgers."
Yeah, that's what they should have did.
That's what they should have done. You should have franchise tagged Rodgers.
They then signed Devontae and then signed.
Probably would have got him at a discount.
Next but he's going to play with Derek Carr.
I love that matchup, man.
I love that matchup with each other.
Yeah, they both played with each other and all that stuff.
You see what they're doing over in Raiders, and I mean,
didn't they pick up Chandler Jones? I think.
I think they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, Chandler Jones went from
and
Arizona
Josh
to the
McDaniels
Raiders. Josh McDaniels is the backup.
He's a head coach.
Head coach.
Yeah.
You got the wide receivers over there were pretty good. You had
Waller,
Adam.
yeah,
Darren
Waller.
Just take a look at Derek Carr's normal yardage. I mean, he's phenomenal.
He was up there with everybody. The question for that one is he going to stay healthy this season too?
Well, if they address,
he plays all 16 games.
Yeah.
No, a couple seasons, not last season before.
I'm not up to par. I don't know their offensive line issues or not. My only concern, because obviously Devonte addition is going to improve their receiving core. My only question mark is the running game.
Oh, Jacobs?
That's because I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Josh Jacobs is he's
But they had somebody else over there with him.
It
was the second running back. I forgot his name, but he was I said, the running backs are by committee.
But it's a solid running game.
Yeah,
He's a top 5 back. He's a top 5 back.
And I think we were even kind of talking about this. I mean, the AFC West, the moves that they've made, they're going to be
AFC West
is going to be a tough division.
You look at Tyreek Hill leaving Kansas City.
Even with him leaving, Kansas City's not going to be a slouch.
Up and coming already with doing nothing. They were right there. The Raiders were right there. Now you
got a solid competition in Denver as well.
Over there with all the stuff they just got just done.
Now, although I have to admit, with Tyreek leaving, going to Miami, that is a step back for the Chiefs. Although I did hear, I haven't seen it or knew who they got, but I hear they're trying to get a replacement for that.
Scatling and Beckham.
Okay. So I don't know if that's been finalized or anything. I haven't looked at the updates on that, but if they do, when I take a look at the Chiefs, they have other issues they have to address.
Yeah,
like the running game needs to be improved, the offensive line needs to be improved,
defensive line, and
they lost defense all around needs to be improved.
Yeah.
And we actually had this discussion last time we got together.
So like when we're looking at all, like we was talking about if anybody checked the last episode, we talked about this Deshaun Watson going into that AFC North.
I have to admit though, I don't like that landing spot, but I think that I understand.
Yeah.
With the way they structured that deal and with the way that he was treated, I mean, this is my theory. If he truly is innocent and this is nothing but a character assassination, he wants to get his money and he's going to get out.
Well, he got his money.
So now, depending on how the rest of this contract goes,
yeah.
If he doesn't renew it and he walks away from football, we know.
But we know
to me, I think that's a true test. Well, because I mean, if he doesn't have another scandal between now and then,
he better keep his nose clean, just like all the rest of them should. Learn how not to send a text message, fellas.
See, once again, that's not the problem.
And then you got the AFC East, you got the AFC North. Those are the two divisions in the AFC that's really gonna be worth watching.
Oh yeah.
And like I said the last time, Deshaun Watson going over there, going against the likes of Trubisky and Lamar Jackson 2 times a season, and then Burrows. I mean, come on, that's some interesting football over there. And then you got.
We definitely need to see if Lamar can step out of that funk, because that last year funk that was reminiscent of a sophomore slump, but it wasn't his sophomore year; it was more of his junior.
Yeah, and then I think the last 4 or 5 games he was on the sideline anyway.
Yeah.
Then you got Hibbert over there just shining like brightly. You know, he was doing his thing. Then Derek Carr not at the
you
weapons.
Mean Hibbert over in
Hibbert, yeah, and then now
LA?
you got LA Chargers now.
Yeah, LA Chargers.
And then now you got I keep saying San Diego.
Yeah,
I think I'll always be San Diego as far as I'm concerned.
Me too. I always get caught up on that too.
And then you got Derek Carr with what the Raiders just gave him to play with. I mean, the AFC is now actually probably the most dominant league.
So now you take a look. So we just covered the AFC West, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the AFC South is now hurting.
Ain't nobody just Derrick Henry and the Titans.
Even with Matt Ryan coming to the Indy, right?
Matt Ryan and the Colts.
You still have a 2-team race with Tennessee and Indy.
And that's what you had last year, 2-team race.
Exactly.
But it's bad.
Jacksonville's still in rebuild, and
Houston
although
is definitely going to be rebuild.
I mean, Houston still has question marks.
And then you look at, but when I say it's just Derrick Henry and the Titans, it's because Matt Ryan, all them years in Atlanta, you accomplished jack shit. I'm sorry, you didn't do anything.
Who?
What? Matt Ryan in Atlanta.
He got the MVP.
He went to the Super Bowl, but you didn't do any. You didn't do anything. It was no.
He did do a lot.
It was not because they had
a
16 season.
This is kind of like a feelings. He feels that he didn't do anything.
He choked the 4 quarters.
Hey, John, I do want to point out one thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Every year, he is up there in the top 5 QBs for total passing yards.
Yep.
Matt Ryan is up there. He was up there with the likes of Drew Brees and Peyton Manning and Brady.
I don't see it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you don't see it because he's not getting the wins. But if you take a look at his stats, he is definitely an accomplished QB. Look, to me, Matt Ryan is slightly better version of Phillip Rivers. Watch it.
Yeah.
It'll take him a few weeks to get his feet, but that will make Indy competitive.
I just don't see them dethroning Tennessee at all. That's what I'm saying.
But they don't need to beat Tennessee. They just need to beat everybody else.
Well, that's
right, and that's not going to be that hard.
That's easy to do in
right.
NFC
So Tennessee right now, they're in the driving seat. They're the ones in the possibility of taking the division. Mm-hmm. Indy, all they need to do is make a wild card. Take a look because outside of AFC West, right, the AFC North. I mean, who's your true competition outside of Cincinnati? Right. Well, I mean, right now, possibly
it's going to be the
Cleveland.
Browns in Baltimore, like it always is.
Well, Baltimore still has some issues to figure out.
I think they
Pittsburgh,
got some
Pittsburgh with Mitch Trubisky. I mean, they're not going to be slouches. What I see out of the AFC North is a lot of like well-rounded, medium type teams that could maybe be spoilers. Yeah. And then, but the only weak league outside of the South is the East.
The AFC East and the AFC South.
You've got Bills. That's it. Buffalo.
Yeah. Well,
out of the East.
Yeah, maybe if Tom Brady decides to go to Miami.
Maybe, and I'm sorry, I would even consider that a distant maybe.
If he does, that makes him a little bit difficult for Buffalo. But at the same token, it's going to be a 2-team race in that one also.
What, Buffalo and who else?
Buffalo and Miami. That's it. If they can land somebody like Tom
Buffalo's
going
to run away with that one. They're the division leader.
I think we forgot the Patriots.
I'm not worried about the Patriots.
I didn't forget
you
the
own
Patriots.
worried about the Patriots. Nobody else worried about the Patriots.
I'll put them as a close second.
I mean, they did go into the playoffs.
Mac Jones, sophomore slump.
Mac Jones.
Sophomore slump. But so you move over. You got those two. Like you say, the AFC East and the AFC West and AFC North are going to be what basically drives that conference.
Well, I mean, and if they beat up on each other like they have been,
like they always do,
right? You may only have one team out of them. Which
I can't see that.
Which will benefit the West because if the West is top heavy, right? They're the ones with the talent.
Well, you can pull what 3? You can pull 3, 2, and
I would
1.
say there's a chance that 3 teams could come out of the West.
Yeah, it's also now it's a chance 3 teams can come out of the East. I mean the North also. If like you say, Lamar Jackson can get
then that means the South and the East would only have one apiece.
Yeah, and I'm thinking Tennessee.
No, you can't have 3 and 3. Because you always have to have a division.
Oh, no, you got 7. I'm sorry. I'll take
7.
Yeah, it's 3, 2, 1, and 1. That's what it is.
You're right. There should be 8, though.
Yeah. It'd make it more simpler if it was 8.
Well, I mean, just go.
That means nobody gets a bye.
Go 8, right? Have a bye week before the tournament, and then just do it bracket style.
Yeah, and then do a bracket. Everybody gets a bye week. Do a bracket style.
And
I
call
think
it a day.
We discussed that once.
We did.
I don't know if they. I don't think they listen to us sometimes, but
only when we tell them where the like like last week when you said he's going to Cleveland.
What trade might should happen when Chuck talked about the Arizona Cardinal one?
Right.
That one popped up again. I was like, what the hell? I say, ooh, Chuck be on it.
But yeah, I mean, I was surprised to see Tyreek Hill going to Miami.
Yeah,
because
that shocked me.
He doesn't. Tua doesn't have the arm. I mean, and neither does Teddy Bridgewater. So I don't see that one going very far for him.
And I'll be honest with you, is when this popped off and he sent the text message, guys were already talking about it at the job, and I could hear the chatter, but I didn't know what they were talking about until I read your text message. I was like, now I started listening to everybody. They were like, I'm like, when did y'all find this? Oh man, they've been talking about this all day. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's a shock. That's a shock. If anything, I thought you probably would have traded Pringle or somebody like that, but not your number one.
Well, they can't keep him, Cap.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's gonna be hard to keep that team together the way.
Cap space. I don't know. Is free agency killing it? Because now it's like, because of free agency, because of the cap space, you find these trades, and some of the time it's like you're wondering what were they thinking. Mm-hmm. And I know that most of the time it's a business decision, but I don't know. I mean, to me, it almost seems like it's a detriment to the league.
Trading them to Miami, you gave them to an AFC team, but it's on the other side of the pond. You won't see him except once a year, and you probably won't even see him this year.
No, there's going to be times where you'll be playing him twice.
And if they make the playoffs, you might see him then.
Well, no, because look, you play a division in your own conference, mm-hmm. and you still have 2 other games.
If they're on the schedule,
but yeah, so there's a good chance. There's a good chance you could play him twice.
Yeah, but you won't see him until he's on the schedule. That's what I'm saying.
Well, and once every 2 years.
Yeah, once every 2 years, and then with that, he can only pick your team apart once every 2 years.
Yeah, we forgot NFC South.
How did we forget the South?
Because we forgot that Jameis Winston. Well,
because we were on the AFC side. We weren't talking about the NFC yet.
I meant.
Well, I know we were looking. Were you talking about the Deshaun thing?
What do you mean?
No,
I'm just curious on in what category because
we were talking about
we were
quarterbacks
talking about
moving
quarterbacks
around.
in the
Moving
AFC.
We
Competition wise,
we were talking about Matt Ryan.
Matt
He
Ryan, Baker
left
Mayfield.
Falcons, but Mariota took over.
Yeah, Mariota's over there.
but really,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
come
just
on.
yeah, just
Really?
Honorable mention. Is
but
that what
but
it
then
is?
but then again, that goes back to my.
I mean, look, he's been sitting behind
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr.
right for a while over at the Raiders. Maybe it's time to give him another shot. I mean,
And
he
that's
didn't
what
do
they're
bad
doing.
in Tennessee,
Yeah.
right? I mean, he there was flashes
It
of
was
good.
it was the injuries
and the
to be honest
injury
with you. It was the
prone,
injuries.
right? So, and Falcons have a solid line,
Yep.
right? I don't know about the running game right now, but I mean that can be addressed in the draft.
Tight end.
And last I heard, their receiving core wasn't bad. So if
Well,
they,
it's bad now because remember the number
that's
one.
right, they got rid of him.
He got rid of him because of
Yep.
the betting.
so
So,
yeah,
yeah.
go figure. Oops. So I mean, so in that regard, he's not going to an ideal place unless,
And
of course, they can replace him.
Winston, you said?
Yeah, for 2 years.
All right, so
Oh, really? So
yeah, I
so-
heard he got re-signed. I didn't know how long.
And what's up with Winston? I mean, he stays in the NFC South.
Yeah.
Well,
Tampa Bay, the Saints, now to Atlanta.
But and then the reason I brought that up is the reason I keep bringing it up is 'cause I keep going back to Baker for some reason.
Well, yeah,
'Cause-
Baker's got a spot. He's got to land. Look,
He's gonna land
He's got to
somewhere.
land somewhere.
But I
It's
mean,
just
Mary.
nobody-
I mean, who
nobody's
would you
in a rush to
see?
get him.
See, with Atlanta, that would have been my spot for Baker because
It was like a landing spot. They already have components around.
right.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is
Well, maybe we should look at it from a point of view of head coaches and offensive coordinators that may want him.
Well, because he plays. I think he played the spread in Oklahoma, right? They play
Yeah.
spread offense. They don't spread up in Atlanta.
They do in this. They do in New Orleans.
Yeah,
They do run a spread in New Orleans.
Atlanta is like more.
Well,
like
has New Orleans
play
landed
action
a
kinda
QB yet?
Well, they re-signed Jameis Winston.
they just yeah. I would take James Winston over Baker.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
I'd take both of them and see.
I'm
I'd do
sorry.
that quarterback.
No.
I'd make him fight for it again.
No.
Because it brought out the best in Jameson when he had to fight for it.
Well, I mean, Carolina's still looking, and that wouldn't be a bad spot for Baker. Solid run game, right?
And
okay,
Seattle's
receivers.
not interested in them, and he's not interested
Oh,
in
yeah,
Seattle.
Well, especially if they go with Kaepernick.
I think Baker's fit will probably be.
What about Seattle trading for Jared Goff? Getting him out of Detroit, moving him over to Seattle.
Actually, if Baker went to Detroit, you would be that would be where he would go to die.
Yeah, well, hey, boy, need
I mean, take a look at what's going on with Goff right now. Goff kind of tapered off.
I mean, he had some good timed football games last year, but other than that,
Still didn't win a lot.
I think, and this is not me just saying this. I
Okay.
think he will probably be a good fit here in Houston.
Baker
Yeah,
plays emotional, but I mean,
But I'm thinking- 'cause
are
he-
they not all in on Mills?
no, they're saying he's going to be the starting quarterback,
Right.
Right?
No matter what they do.
What I'm
He's gonna
saying
be the
is
starting quarterback.
if you think about it, like with
I mean,
Baker,
well, I
and the
mean, you
way
might
he
be able to pick
plays.
up Baker cheap, and then if it's expected
If
he's
you
going to
if
be
you
a
ask
backup.
Baker to come to
But wait a
Houston
minute,
and play Houston,
currently-
and you
question.
we gonna redo your contract, and he said yes.
Who
by all
who
means.
currently is the backup right now behind David Mills?
Tyrod Taylor.
No, Tyrod Taylor.
No, he's gone.
He's somewhere else.
I think it was the Giants, ain't he?
Yeah, Giants or somebody up there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who's backup quarterback if they have one.
They may not have one, so that could be a good spot for Baker.
Well, the reason I say this because Houston's
I mean-
offense runs similar to the
Browns.
Browns,
Yeah.
Going nowhere fast.
so
Right.
it would be a familiar fit. And then also, like I said, if you get a good run game behind him, he does well. It's just the turnovers,
Yeah, well,
and
and it's because of the force feed. I mean,
The
look,
force
you
feed.
got to stress progressions.
Right.
Take the open man. I mean, I get it. During pressure situations, sometimes you have to take the chance, but you can't constantly feed your favorite receiver just to make him happy.
right. And I think it's just for resetting purposes, Houston would be a good.
That's
fit.
not
And
a
then
bad one, but
you
would
still
they
get an
take it?
overall number 1 draft pick. I mean,
So it doesn't
not
hurt
draft
you.
pick. You still get an overall number 1 pick. So
But would you really do that to David Mills? I mean, I don't.
I had them compete. No, don't get me wrong. They'll compete for the
Yeah,
job.
but see, once again, it's sophomore slump. He only won 4 games. There'll be a lot of pressure to put Baker in there.
I mean, but then at the end of the day, still got a quarterback.
True.
Better than
I guess it depends on how much of a discount you get.
Well, I mean,
Really,
no,
I mean-
you wait for the Browns.
Are we
first.
talking about a bargain,
I'm not-
basement type deal,
No,
or are we talking,
No, we Texans are not about to eat this cap. No, I mean that $18 million. No,
And that's just for a year. So I mean, yeah. Well, even though he's not wearing his Deshaun jersey, he's still, you know.
Yeah, I couldn't find it today, so.
I don't know.
I keep trying to.
I guess I don't. I'm not going to say no to it because I mean we still have a lot of free agency left, and of course the draft is coming up in a month. So I mean,
because I just wrote down all the quarterbacks. The only place he can go to is Houston.
Yeah.
The Falcons, the Panthers.
Falcons just locked theirs up, didn't they?
Mariota.
Oh,
yeah.
Driscoll. That was the one they picked up. Remember? Jeff Driscoll?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So they do have their backup.
Possibly the Giants.
What about the Jets?
The Jets have a Zach Wilson.
And that's just one quarterback.
They just drafted him last year.
From last year.
Yeah. You couldn't do that to that dude.
Why not? You do it to everybody else. Shoot.
I mean, if the Dolphins just really don't like Tua, maybe the Dolphins.
No, they say they high on Tua.
What about Philly?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking.
Oh, yeah, Philly with Hurts.
Hey,
yeah,
the
Hurts.
Texans have Kyle Allen on their roster as a quarterback.
Yeah.
So that's 3 quarterbacks right there. Kyle Allen, Driscoll, and Mills.
Well, who's the? Oh, that's right. Commanders got Wentz.
Yeah, Commanders.
I don't know if
Wentz.
I like that one. That's not going to last.
I thought that was a desperation move.
That's another place he can go.
And see, they did that before the Russell Wilson trade.
I know.
Which I thought was crazy. I would have been in with the Russell Wilson trade.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
because Carson Wentz's contract was high up there, just like Russell's.
Well, not his new contract.
yeah, I would have taken Russell over Wentz. That's ugly.
I'd have took Baker over Wentz. I don't
blame you. I don't blame you.
Because I got a run game up here. I got a receiver up here, which is what he always had.
And
with
a young
the Browns.
defense. A young, hungry defense. I like the Commanders.
And
I think
Washington needs everything.
I think
they need everything. Defensive ends. They need rushers.
They're young and up and coming, man. Have you not seen what they've done? It's a young team, so there's a little inexperiencing going on there, but they're improving. The Commanders are a team to watch.
Not with Carson Wentz, though.
Well, I'm not saying with Carson Wentz,
no.
but in general,
well, we got a season.
Keep an eye on.
We got a season to pick apart this year anyway.
Oh,
so.
hell yeah!
Wait a minute.
What?
Not to get off the NFL train, but the USFL starts on April 16th.
Oh,
that's.
Do we have any teams local?
I don't think we have one here.
Are we doing is there any Roughneck games that we can go to?
Roughnecks won't start till 2023. That's 2023.
Yeah, next year.
But the USFL started in April, and the Roughnecks will be starting the same time USFL will start next year.
Oh, okay.
And I think they're going to wind up trying to merge those two to make one.
Kind of like the NFC,
NFL,
AFC. Yeah.
So, but we'll check that out. I'm gonna check that game out. It comes on the 16th Sunday football again.
Cool.
So.
All right. Well,
that was just a note to throw out there. But as far as like all this quarterback carousel that jumped off at the beginning of the free agency, and then watching these wide receivers land where they wound it up at, it's gonna be some it's gonna be a lot of stuff going on the first week of football.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be a lot.
Hey, you want to go over to juniors again this year for the
draft? Yeah, I'm down with that. All right, just tell him
at least stay for a majority of that first round before
I'll bail out. After the first round, it's really you don't. It's
well, and plus it goes so late too. I mean, it starts at 7 or 8 o'clock.
And that's the thing; it starts so late. It's during the week.
I know I got to work on Friday,
and I definitely got to get my butt.
Maybe I should request that day off. Use my floating holiday or something.
Yeah. I got one of those left.
Yeah. I think I already used mine, but I still have enough vacation time I can take it off.
But yeah, we can do that at juniors.
Shoot, I don't know if I can because I'll be on. I'm taking that week off in May.
Oh, you might not be here.
No, because it's always the last week of April. The draft is always the last week of April.
Yep. Okay, well Chuck will be out, so we ain't worried about that.
Yeah,
well, we already know that. But anyway, I think I don't know. Random discussion about BS. Hope you enjoyed it. We're gonna go ahead. Any last topics you want to do before we get out of here? Or at least pause for
the
another
break. Well, we'll give it at you guys in the second half, second segment of this random discussion about what's going on in the NFL.
All right.